Today, we're going to talk about the first chapter of Singapore's elective history. Part 2, Aims, Terms and Impact of the Treaty of Versailles. Before we begin, take out your notebook and a pen. Write down important words and draw mind maps. After this video, review your work to achieve these goals. Do note the different command words for each type of paper. Here are some important historical keywords. Pause the video and write it down. Here's more. Ha 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 ha. In 1919, the Paris Peace Conference was held to officially end World War I. It was dominated by the Big Three, Britain, France, and the USA. Together, they drafted the Treaty of Versailles. But here's the plot twist. Each leader wanted very different things. President Woodrow Wilson was the idealist. He believed in fair punishment for Germany and long-term world peace. This includes creating the League of Nations. Prime Minister David Lloyd George was the realist. Although he believed Germany should be punished, he was also worried that it would affect Britain's economy and safety. Germany was Britain's main trading partner and served as a buffer for the growing threat of the Soviet Union. Prime Minister Georges Clemenceau, the most vengeful. France had suffered the most damage and deaths in the war, so Clemenceau wanted to make sure Germany could never threaten France again. That meant weaken Germany as much as possible, even break her up. Despite their clashing agendas, the Treaty of Versailles was signed. Officially, it aimed to build peace, but really it was about punishing Germany. Here's how they did it. 1. War Guilt Clause. Germany had to accept full blame for starting the war. 2. Reparations. Germany had to pay £6.6 billion, over $260 billion today. 3. Territory changes. Germany lost surrounding land to neighbors and lost all overseas colonies. 4. Limited armed forces. Germany's army capped at 100,000 soldiers. No air force. No submarines. 5. Create the League of Nations to keep peace. But guess what? Germany wasn't allowed to join. International reactions to the Treaty of Versailles varied, with countries most affected being generally pleased, while others thought it was too harsh or unfair, especially Germany. This led to a sense of national anger and hatred in Germany towards the Treaty of Versailles. What does it mean for a country to be angered? When you talk about a country being humiliated and angered, it's because they suffered negative outcomes such as loss, feeling unjustly or unfairly treated. So, why did Germans view the treaty with resentment? There was a loss of national pride, a humiliation as Germany was once a great empire. But now they no longer hold any colonies, and a huge chunk of their empire was lost. Loss of the ability to rebuild the country after the war. Germany was burdened by the treaty, on top of the loss of manpower. Infrastructure was destroyed, and there was increased poverty. Loss of its people. Germany was denied self-determination. 12.5% of German-speaking population were living outside of Germany in Europe because of the treaty. Loss of defense. Germany felt vulnerable to being attacked by other countries, as they were forced to accept limited army size while being surrounded by more powerful neighbors. Most importantly, the shame and anger of being unfairly treated. The terms punish the people and not the leader, the Kaiser, who started the war. They also viewed the treaty as a diktat that Germany was forced to accept. But worst of all, Germany was forced to accept total blame for a war that not only they did not start, but felt that many other nations were also responsible. The Treaty of Versailles is now infamous for contributing to World War II. It's like when your parents take away your handphone, denying all your TikTok scrolling, and you think to yourself, when I grow up, I'm going to put them in a nursing home. LOL. Now, imagine millions of Germans carrying that resentment for many years. The treaty had both short and long-term repercussions that would pave the way for World War II. Immediately after the release of the treaty, many Germans believed their army never lost the war, but was stabbed in the back by Jews, communists, and weak politicians. This led to growing bitterness, especially towards Germany's new democratic government that signed the treaty. A few years later, Germany faced more political and economic chaos due to the treaty, mainly the Ruhr invasion and hyperinflation in 1923. This will be discussed more in Chapter 2. But the true impact will be felt less than a generation later, as the decade of bitterness would be exploited by extremist parties like the Nazis. If you found this helpful, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you'd like to support me, please consider buying me coffee using the link below. Every bit helps in making these videos.